Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm finally filming what I ate in the run up to my IVF, and I've been meaning to film this for a long time. Our IVF started 3 years ago, next month, and it's just one of those things that got away with me because I wanted to give a lot of time to it. But I'm just going to sum up what I did eat, because I'm having more and more messages now. I've had a few Instagram messages recently, so I want to get this filmed while I've got the chance. And if you hear any noise, said IVF result is on a nap, so he might bang around a little bit. He's just moved into a grown-up bed, so he kind of sometimes falls and scurries back into bed. So first of all, I've had a couple of questions. Did I get my nutrition plan approved by a doctor? Was I told to eat this way? Did I see a nutritionist? The short answer is no. I've done nutritional weight management qualifications because of my job and things like that, and I did a lot of research. I got the Z to West IVF Diet book. I went online, I did a lot of research. I think all I did was research in the run up to the IVF, because we had like 8 weeks from ringing up to our first consultation. So I've done so much research in that time. And to be fair, everything I'm going to tell you is really, really obvious. But I want to share with you. Now, my thoughts, do I think the way I ate impacted our success? Yes, but for a couple of reasons. So the first reason is I don't like using the word diet, but the nutrition that I followed literally was so nutritious that my body would not be lacking any vitamins, things like that. So I think it made sure my body was as healthy as possible. Secondly, I think it was the eating so well done had a really good effect on my mental well-being. I felt like I was doing the best I could for my body. With me, if you're like myself and you'll need to use donor eggs, then I kind of had this feeling that I wasn't really contributing. I was of course, going to carry said baby, but I felt like I wasn't contributing, because most of the time you want to eat really healthily if you're using your own eggs. So what I'm going to get into is great if you want to improve your egg quality, but for people like me, when you know that's not an issue, it's not really a factor, I felt a little bit made redundant. So for me, I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to get my body as healthy as possible, so I know that when that embryo is in me, that I've done all I can to make my body as hospitable as possible, and it really, really helped me that way. And yeah, I think it really did have a positive effect. If you've watched my journey, you'll know that I had uterine lining problems. I had a really, really thin lining of 2.8 millimeters. So I really researched foods and supplements I could take to help increase that. And in 4 weeks, it went from 2.8 to 7 millimeters thick in just 4 weeks. I was also put in HRT at that time, so it's not just down to what I ate. I do have a separate video which I'll link somewhere up here or below on the foods that I ate, but they're sort of covered in this. Okay, first things first, make sure you're taking folic acid. I took a prenatal vitamin, which normally has everything in that you need, but folic acid is the big one, and you want that at least 4 weeks before your transfer date to make sure you've got it all stored up to look after said embryo and baby as they develop. The first thing that I did is I reduced my caffeine. I've never been a massive caffeine drinker, but they do recommend that you lower it to no more than 2 cups a day. I think I got to the point where just before I wasn't having any at all, and it was actually the first food aversion I had when I was pregnant. Like, the smell of coffee was it was horrible. So yeah, caffeine maximum of twice per day, but that includes caffeinated drinks, so like Coke, some like hot chocolate's got caffeine in it as well, tea of course. So I swapped over to herbal teas. The first thing I'm going to mention is raspberry red leaf tea, which you might have heard of if you've been doing some research. Now, this is said to believe that it can have a good impact on your lining, so it can help prepare it for embryo transfer. However, as soon as you've had that transfer, it's recommended that you stop taking the herbal tea. This tea is also recommended at the end of pregnancy to help induce labour. So it's kind of showing you there that, you know, maybe there is something behind there. I made sure I drank at least 2 litres of water a day. I know that's, you know, for any sort of health benefit, they recommend water, but it's there for a reason. You want to make sure you're nice and hydrated, and it'll make you feel really, really good and make your body just, you know, we're 60% water, we need water. You can obviously have like cordials and things like that in it, but make sure you are hydrated. I personally aim for 3 litres of water a day. That's what suits me. And I know people are like, oh, it makes you weak. You do get used to it, I promise you do. Just keep it going. Okay, I reduced refined sugar, and actually in the run up to IVF I actually lost a lot of weight because the food I was eating was so healthy, but it was so low in calories naturally because I wasn't having refined sugars. So it didn't mean I deprived myself. I love cooking and experimenting with things. So I made a lot of desserts out of dates, and I had lots of fruit and yogurt, and I'd add different things to it to make it even more nutritious, like flaxseed and chia seeds, things like that. Most mornings I'd have a bowl of porridge, which is high in whole grains, with some fruit on top and some flax seeds, and that's like a really nutritious meal, because you also want to increase your whole meals to make sure that your body's got fibre and all the vitamins and just all the energy to get your body ready as well. Yeah, so I tried to avoid like processed food. That was the biggest thing. Nothing processed. I pretty much made everything. I was obsessed at the time with Buddha bowls, and I've started eating those again recently actually. So Buddha bowls, basically they were a bit of a trend back then, but they'd just be a bowl and you just fill it with lots of different things. So sweet potatoes, which are high in vitamin A, and beta carotene. I can never say that word. So yeah, sweet potatoes, avocado for the win, essential fatty acids, omegas, just so healthy, good form of protein and carbohydrates as well. Then I'd have some rice. I just use microwave rice, whole grain microwave rice, normally flavoured with sort of lime juice and herbs. Then I'd have hummus, because I'm obsessed with hummus, and it was a source of protein as well. I'd make lots of black bean chilies, which have loads of, you know, again, loads of health benefits, and I'll list some of these in the video as well. But I'm going to kind of go off on a tangent here, because indirectly I ended up plant-based, or vegan if you want to say that way. I don't feel like you have to do this, it's just something that kind of happened. So I avoid dairy, I have for a long time, because it has a negative effect on my throat. If I have dairy, then I struggle to breathe, my voice goes really croaky, it's very, very strange. So I always looked at recipes that were dairy free, and the easiest thing to search for was vegan, and then I'd add a meat sauce if I wanted to. But I got to the point I wasn't craving meat, so we were just having lots of chickpea curries and black bean chilies, things like that, and that's what it kind of led to in the end. So I don't think it had an impact, but I just wanted to put it out there that I was not really eating meat at that time. I made sure that every meal was like a rainbow, so I made sure I hit 10 portions of fruit and veg a day. And what you want to make sure is those are different sources, so it's not just like 5 bananas and 5 apples. It needs to be like you've had some banana, you've had some orange, you've had some spinach, you've had some peppers. You want to make sure that you are literally getting vitamins and different minerals and everything from so many different sources, because each vegetable and each fruit have their different benefits. So you want to make sure your body is as supported as possible. Jumping back to the vitamins, you do want to, I would recommend taking a prenatal because it has all your essential vitamins and minerals in. However, these are a supplement, and you should try to get everything from food, and that will fill in any gaps that are missing. With folic acid, that's the most important one, and this was another focus of how I ate. I made sure I had a handful of green leafy vegetables every single day. It was normally spinach, because I would have a smoothie every day. It's something I still do. I don't feel like you need to have a smoothie as a meal replacement, I just have one. So I use a smoothie mix from Nutriseed, and it's got cacao in it, it's got maca powder, it's got flaxseed, it's got all that sort of good stuff in it, and you add that to frozen blueberries and half a frozen banana, then I'd add in a handful of spinach, which you don't have to do, but that was kind of just adding the greens in, and I'd make mine with almond milk, and I had that pretty much every single day. On top of that, I had a juice. So it was a mixture between pom juice, and again that's going back to building up my uterine lining, because that's been said to aid in that. You can again refer to that video. So I'd have pom juice or a juice that I'd make, and it's just a general juice I make all the time. I don't know where I got the recipe from, but it's beetroot, celery, cucumber, carrot and apple. I'd sometimes add ginger, and I'd sometimes add romaine lettuce. It sounds weird if you don't taste it, but it's really, really nice and refreshing. I'd also have some super greens in the morning, which is a powdered, basically powdered greens like wheatgrass, spirulina, lots of things that are really, really good for you, and I just knock that back in the morning. Not the nicest thing, but it's literally, you know, 5 seconds of your life. I just get up, have a shot of that, then make my smoothie or my porridge, and get on with the day, forget about the greens. But that's the sort of thing that I had. I just was really making sure I had lots of greens in my diet and lots of rainbow foods. Yeah, I made sure I had a really good amount of, sorry I've got notes down here, of healthy fat. So that was avocados or flax seeds or chia seeds. I'd say I probably had avocado every day, but I'm a little bit of an avocado like addict. But you know, they're good for you, and I've ate them my whole life. My dad's from Trinidad, and he would really tell me so much about avocados. I kind of were on them before they were like a trend. I still eat quite like that way anyway. I do eat more meat now. I have eggs quite often, which are a great source of protein and vitamin D. You want to make sure you've got good levels of vitamin D. If you've got uterine lining especially, you need a good source of vitamin E, and you want your omegas as well. So I think if I did it again, it would be limiting processed food. Definitely, just everybody should anyway. You don't have to cut it out, but limit it. I don't think you need to cut things out. Again, I was dairy free. I still am, give or take, an ice cream, gonna be honest with you. I wasn't gluten free, but I didn't have much gluten. I didn't eat a lot of bread. I think I had bread if I made a fresh soup. So I made lots of fresh soups as well, that I just do from scratch. Everything was made from scratch. Everything was not processed at all. And I remember I felt like the healthiest I'd ever felt in my life. Really, really did. Even when they put me on really, really high HRT, and my head was all fuzzy from all these hormones, and I had sore boobs and I had no energy, but I felt incredible, absolutely incredible. Skin was glowing, I was lost loads of weight, which I quickly found. I put on 4.5 stone in my pregnancy. It's all gone now though, it's gone. Yeah, so it's not, you know, it's no kind of shock I took this and this happened, but I think eating a rainbow, and it sounds so stupid, but having a really colourful plate of food is so positive, and you just feel like you're doing the best you can. My thoughts were in the IVF that I want to do the best I can, so I have no regrets, but that wasn't putting pressure on myself at all. It was just taking my time, doing my research, try not to obsess about it, and that's my biggest tip, try not to obsess about it, because it's a long old road. There's so many hurdles, and I'm going to do a video about that shortly. There's not just getting to transfer day, there's so many different hurdles along the way in IVF and in IVF pregnancy, that you need to get yourself in this mindset of just one little bit at a time and not putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. I hope that was helpful in, you know, one way or another. I've put some clips in of like foods that I made from scratch with lots of fruit and veg and things like that, and any questions, just pop them below. Don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. I'm hoping to catch up on my IVF videos now, and any other questions, pop them below. I'm going to be doing some videos on donor conception and, you know, mothering a donor child, and thoughts and feelings, because they change quite often, and I want to be honest and update you all. But I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.